Welcome back to the Mia Pompey podcast. Now, this isn't a regular episode. This doesn't start any season. This is a conversation I think that should be had and deserves to be heard and spoken about. So we'll just call it part of a special series. We are going to be talking about something that affects far more people than we realize. The hardest part about a narcissist isn't meeting one. It's recovering from one. Now, before we begin, I'd like to say something important. This episode is not about diagnosing anyone. Only an educated professional can diagnose someone with a personality disorder. Today, I'm talking about behaviors, experiences, and what it feels like when a relationship slowly changes the way you feel about yourself, the way you see yourself. Because that's where many people live, not in the diagnosis, but in the aftermath. The most confusing thing about emotionally unhealthy relationships is that they never really begin that way. Most begin with kindness, attention, connection. You feel safe. You feel important. You feel seen. You think you found someone who truly understands you. And then, little by little, things begin to change. Things don't change overnight, because if they did, we would walk away immediately. Instead, it's gradual. A comment here, a criticism there, a joke that really doesn't feel like a joke, an apology that somehow becomes something you have to give. And before long, you find yourself apologizing for things you didn't even do. One of the biggest questions people ask themselves after leaving a relationship like this: how did I not see it? Here's my answer. You weren't looking for someone to hurt you. You were looking for someone to love. That's a big difference. Kind people often assume that other people have the same intentions they do, but sometimes they don't. Another question you can ask yourself: why did it take me so long to move on? It's because you're not grieving a person. You're grieving the version of yourself that existed before the relationship. You're grieving the version of yourself that trusted so easily, laughed so freely, said something without being criticized. Someone that didn't second guess their decisions all the time. Healing isn't about just letting go of someone else. It's about finding yourself again. One of the cruelest things emotional manipulation can do is to make yourself stop trusting your own instincts. You begin asking other people what they think because you don't trust your own judgment anymore. You replay conversations. You question your own memory. You wonder if you're overreacting. You become afraid of saying the wrong thing. Now that isn't peace. That's survival. And living in survival mode for a few months, a few years, can change a person. But here's the good news. Healing happens the same day the damage happens. Little by little, one boundary, one healthy friendship, one conversation, one peaceful morning, one decision to stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to understand you. You don't wake up one day completely healed. You just notice that you start laughing again, you're sleeping better, you're trusting yourself more, and you're making decisions without having to hear a narcissist's comment. You're finally feeling lighter. And you know what? Those little moments matter because that's what recovery looks like. Sometimes people ask themselves, will I ever be the same person again? Maybe not, but maybe that's not the goal. Maybe the goal isn't becoming who you used to be. Maybe the goal is becoming someone stronger, someone who recognizes manipulation sooner, someone who values people over chaos and control, someone who now understands that love should never require you to lose yourself. If you're listening today and you're wondering if your feelings are valid, let me tell you this. You don't need someone else to validate your feelings. It's your experience that matters. It's your feelings that matter. It's your healing that matters. I'll leave you with one final thought. Those people who hurt you do not get to decide who you become. They may have been a part of your story, but they don't get to write the ending. You do. Every single day, one choice at a time. Thank you for joining me for this special drop of Special Series 1. If this conversation spoke to you, maybe there's someone that you can share it with who needs to hear this. Remember, healing is about someone who knows their worth, protects their peace, and trusts themselves again. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and remember, life is not a dress rehearsal. What are you waiting for? I'm Mia Pompey, and I will see you in the next episode. And here's something to remember. The greatest victory isn't leaving an unhealthy relationship. It's refusing to lose yourself because of it.